I am sure it has crossed your mind. Why does God allow sickness to hurt us? Why does God allow death to hurt us? Why does God allow problems to confront us and feel us weak and make us feel weak? Tutal, bubuhayin din naman. Bakit pa pinabayaang magkasakit? Tutal, pagagalingin din. Bakit kailangan pang masaktan? And the greatest question of it all is, why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? People who struggle to obey the commandments. People who struggle and give their best to serve the church. People who serve the poor. People who are faithful up to the very end. Why does God allow these people to suffer? You remember Mary and Martha, who sent word to Jesus, your best friend is sick. But Jesus did not go to Bethany. Lazarus died. And when Jesus arrived, Martha and Mary asked the same question. Why were you not here when we needed you? Why do you allow your friend to die without you? That is also the question of the people in the gospel. The daughter is sick. Another woman is sick. So many people are hungry. Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? It is also the question when we look at the life of the servant of God, Alfredo Versosa. Why did God allow him to suffer that way years before he passed on to life everlasting? Why the calumny? Why the ridicule? Why the insult? Why the experience of being ignored, of being forgotten, of being suspected? Why the pain of simply obeying, even if you cannot understand what it is that you must obey? Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? And I ask the same question, and I struggle with the same question, and my answer is, I don't know. I don't know why. I only know how God has handled pain and sickness and death while He was still with us in the 33 years in Israel. What did God do when people were in pain? What did God do when people were in darkness? Let us keep in mind, Jesus is not a rescuer. Jesus is Redeemer. And there is a great difference between being a rescuer and a Redeemer. Yung rescuer, hihilahin ka palayo dun sa problema. Yung Redeemer, papasukin yung problema at sasamahan ka niya at babaguhin yung problema upang maging blessing para sa iyo. That is what redemption does. Redemption does not take away our problems. Redemption is God entering our problems, God entering even our death, God entering our pains, and transforming those pains, transforming those dyings, transforming those darkness into blessings. That is what a Redeemer does. He changes problems into blessings. He changes trials into graces. But beyond entering our problems, what does the Lord do? The Lord allows our problems to become our teachers. My dear young people, I know you want life to be easy. You don't like term papers and projects and quizzes in school. But you know, I want to tell you, an easy school is a bad school. And a convenient life is a bad teacher. Because the most important lessons in life We learn through difficulty. We overcome our cowardice by facing the darkness. We overcome our pain of injection by allowing ourselves to be vaccinated with a needle. In other words, God does not only change our problems into blessings, God also changes our problems into teachers. Because the most important lessons in life, we learn in difficulty, we learn in crisis. And after transforming our problems into into blessings, after transforming our problems to become teaching opportunities, what more does God do with our problems? God dwells in our problems and makes His cross His dwelling place. Why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? I don't know. But I only know that God does something with problems. First, He changes them into graces. Second, He changes them into teachers with lessons. And third, He changes them into His dwelling place here on earth. And if you want to find God here on earth, it is in the sacrifice. It is in the difficulty. It is in among those who suffer. Now we return to the life of the servant of God, Alfredo Versosa. He acted like God when faced with the problems. He allowed the problems to make him a saint rather than to make him bitter. He allowed these problems to sanctify him rather than for him to develop resentment and skepticism and cynicism. He allowed these pains to transform him to become the saint that we now pray will be venerated by the church as blessed and canonized saint. He allowed those pains to become his teachers. He learned many lessons in the seminary, and he learned many lessons as a pastor and priest. He learned many lessons as a bishop in Lipa. But the most important lessons he learned in Ilocos, in his loneliness, in his crisis, in his darkness, because darkness and loneliness and difficulties are very good teachers for holiness and for life. And in that struggling heart, in that bleeding heart, God chose to dwell. Alfredo Versosa was not only a pastor, he was not only a confessor of the faith. God dwelt in him, not only in the good in him, not only in the beautiful in him. God dwelt in him as he carried his crosses. And in fact, as Alfredo Versosa carried the cross of his silent retirement in old age, I know he had a whisper from the Lord, "Do not be afraid, I am carrying the cross with you." We wish the servant of God, Alfredo Versosa, will receive beatification and canonization soon. But we don't have to wait for that. Who among us has no problems? Who among us has never faced darkness? Who among us has never faced defeat and humiliation? In defeat, in humiliation, in darkness and in problems, in sickness, even in the threat of death. Transform them into graces. Make them your teachers. And allow God to dwell in our crisis.